Introduction. Hello everyone. Today, we're going to talk about a story that sounds a bit strange, even bizarre. Imagine a creature with the body of a giant worm, but growing out of it is the head of an ordained monk. Why would such a thing exist? What secrets are hidden behind this image? Let's find out together. Think about it. If you saw this with your own eyes today, a human head, specifically a monk's, attached to the body of a massive, writhing worm, how would you feel? Terrified? Confused? Who is he, and why does he exist in such a state? Our story begins with this giant question mark. The miserable reality. His situation can be described in one word: tragic. It's not just about looking strange. He lives in constant, agonizing torture. Countless tiny insects bite his body day and night. The stench surrounding him is so foul he can barely stand to live. He can only lie in a filthy, stinking pit of excrement, crying and screaming in total despair. It was at this moment that the Buddha appeared. The Buddha knew this wasn't just a pitiful sight. It was a profound educational opportunity to show everyone the reality of cause and effect, karma. He used his spiritual powers to make that horrific stench waft across the entire city. Naturally, everyone followed the smell, wanting to see what on earth was happening. The mystery was about to be revealed. The shocking revelation. As the crowd gathered, the Buddha looked at the creature. Instead of showing disgust, he spoke with great compassion. He asked the question, and when the creature answered, the crowd gasped in horror. The creature spoke. It admitted its past identity. Imagine the scene. A monster suffering in a manure pit, claiming that he was once a highly respected Tripitaka master, a master of the Buddhist canon. The contrast was staggering. He said, "The pain brought by bad karma is more than an ordinary person can endure." These words said it all. He was a living example of the law that evil is met with evil, and the suffering was beyond anything we could imagine. How the fall began. So, the question is, what happened? How did a brilliant scholar, a master who mastered all the scriptures, end up like this? Let's turn back the clock to a long time ago. Before we continue, let's clarify what a Tripitaka master is. This title is no joke. It refers to a top-tier scholar who knows the entire Buddhist canon inside out, essentially a PhD of Buddhism with immense social status. Back then, he was responsible for 77 people. Imagine the weight of that responsibility. The trust of Qi 000 practitioners, their basic needs and spiritual guidance, all rested in his hands. He was assigned to manage a massive 3-month retreat. To be given such a task meant his merit and ability were at the absolute peak. The turning point: greed and lies. How did he stray so far? It all started with a single thought of greed. When a group of merchants donated a large sum of money for the monk's provisions, a thought popped into his head. What if I just keep this money for myself? In that split second, he stepped onto a path of no return. He hid the money, and consequently, the quality of life for the monks plummeted. Eventually, the monks had no choice but to go down the mountain to beg for alms. By sheer coincidence, they ran into the very merchants who had donated the money. The truth came out, and the master was cornered. The poisonous curse. When the monks and merchants confronted him, he didn't feel remorse. Instead, he was consumed by humiliated anger. Not only did he refuse to repent, but he turned his rage into a vicious curse against those 77 innocent monks. The irony, he never realized that the curse he hurled at others would bounce back and land 100% on himself. The precision of karma. If we look at the chain of karma, it is incredibly precise. The cause, he stole the food and resources meant for the monks. The result, he is now forced to live in filth and eat excrement. The cause, he cursed the monks to become worms. The result, he himself became a giant worm. From one greedy thought and one angry moment, he traded his status for eternal agony. The accounts of karma are never wrong. The infinite timeline. How long will this pain last? From the time he committed the act until now, an immeasurable amount of time has passed. But it isn't over. He must wait until 500 future Buddhas have appeared and entered nirvana before he even has a chance at liberation. 500 Buddhas. That is a length of time our brains cannot even fathom. That is the weight of his mistake. Lessons learned. What can we learn from this? The power of the mind. Your mind can make you a Buddha, or it can push you into hell. You decide. The fairness of karma. You truly reap what you sow. Knowledge versus practice. Knowledge alone is useless. This master knew all the scriptures, but he couldn't manage his own greed and temper. Without practice, knowledge is hollow. A stern warning: never touch public property or resources belonging to the community. Reflecting on ourselves. This story might sound like ancient mythology, but it is actually a mirror. Let's sit quietly and think. In our own lives, have we had moments where we made wrong decisions out of a momentary spark of greed or anger? Could that single thought, in that single moment, have already planted a seed of suffering for our future? This is a question worth every one of us thinking about deeply.